Sometimes the scariest horrors are the ones you don't see until it's too late. Hey guys, it's Phoebe. Welcome to WatchMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest TV shows you've probably never seen.
Go, come on! Adultery?
We're looking at horror television series that may have slipped under your radar. Let's get to the list.
The red in Kelly's eyes, I can't explain how or why, but Sheriff, it was ink.
Number 10, Penny Dreadful. Though critics and fans adored Penny Dreadful during its criminally short 3-season run, it failed to gain traction among mainstream audiences.
Highly impressive, especially your finale.
Well, you gotta leave them wanting more, as we say in show business.
The cast of characters consisted of both original creations as well as classic figures from fiction, including Dorian Gray and Frankenstein's monster.
My name is Dorian Gray.
Vanessa Ives.
The horror elements are interwoven into the story in a more elegant manner than most shows that deal with the supernatural, providing tightly plotted thrills and scares at every turn.
Like a snake shedding its skin. Everlasting, perpetual life.
With gorgeous cinematography and a talented cast to bolster its creepy atmosphere, Penny Dreadful will sink its teeth into you and won't let go.
When the moment comes, look into my eyes.
Number 9, The River.
Beloved television host Emmett Cole has been reported missing. We can find his ship.
Back in the heyday of the Paranormal Activity series, found footage movies were a dime a dozen. Fortunately, the director of the original movie, Oren Peli, was able to translate that genre to television with this little-known gem. The series followed a crew searching for a famous explorer who had gone missing seeking magic along the Amazon basin.
Where is it?
It's here.
All I got is river.
If it's here, it's under the water.
Its unique setting allowed for a wide range of horrors and mysteries, with wonderfully terrifying world building on an extremely personal scope. Combining the found footage genre with the exotic supernatural intrigue of its setting made for a unique viewing experience, but not one for the faint of heart.
I could survive anything as long as I just kept working, doing the show. So that's what I'll keep doing.
Number 8, The Exorcist. Before The Exorcist premiered, many were quick to write it off as an offering that would never measure up to the original film.
Pass. There will be guys there. Hard pass.
While it may not have achieved that nigh impossible task, those who tuned in were treated to a tense tale of psychological horror. Instead of trying to remake the classic film, it acted as a follow-up, telling a new story in the same vein and paying tribute to it just the right amount. Both seasons focus on different cases, but the first season, led by a captivating Gina Davis, deserves special praise.
There are things going on in the house. My house.
It may not stand the test of time like its predecessor, but give it a chance, and you'll have a head-spinningly good time.
Father?
Hey, Mom.
What are you doing up here?
Number 7, Channel Zero. If you've ever fallen into the rabbit hole of internet creepypasta, you know what kind of bizarre horrors this show is steeped in.
You brought it up. It's just a TV show, Mike.
Taking on an anthology format, each season adapts a different internet horror story into a 6-episode arc, each grimmer than the last. It used its admittedly sparse source material to dive into themes such as mental illness, trauma, and duplicity, bringing a surprising depth to each iteration.
I can't remember anything about her. It's like he took the memory and ate it.
With 4 eerie settings populated by well-fleshed-out characters, the show takes the viewer into the depths of internet hell each season, and we couldn't think of anything scarier.
You know what? No. Forget it. I'm out.
Number 6, Kingdom Hospital.
Please don't hurt me.
You're a real mess, my friend. I mean, seriously racked up.
Stephen King adapted this miniseries from a Lars von Trier project, and with those two names involved, it was just as bananas as you'd think.
Watch for Mary. Listen for her bell. It's a death bell.
Taking place at the titular Kingdom Hospital, the patients come and go, but the enigmatic spirits remain as the mysteries behind them deepen. You never know what to expect with this show, since it can be funny in one moment and terrifying in the next, but it just makes the dread all the more palpable. With a setting that rivals some of King's best works, and a tone as dark as Von Trier's most dismal, it's a wonder this series flew under the radar.
Look, did you just see a little girl in the hallway, maybe?
I didn't see anyone, but then half the lights are out again.
Number 5. Night Gallery. Though The Twilight Zone is the most recognizable of Rod Serling's projects, he also developed another anthology series that dealt with more horrific supernatural elements.
The blind, we're told, for example, develop an extraordinary sense of touch. In this case, the story of a man who perfects the art of killing.
Each segment is connected by its framing device, in which Serling appears and introduces a painting, which embodies each episode's plot or themes. It has unfortunately been overshadowed by its sister series in the decades since, but that doesn't mean that some of these segments can't stand toe-to-toe with the best of the zone. Not to mention, Night Gallery began the Hollywood career of a talented up-and-coming young man named Steven Spielberg.
It was pleasant, possibly foolish, but above all, this thing was a secret and something to be preciously concealed.
Number 4. The Strain.
You're here because the bodies have disappeared.
Do you know where they are?
I know where they're going.
After a slew of sappy vampire dramas during the Twilight craze, these blood-sucking fiends were in need of reinvention. Thankfully, FX's adaptation of Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan's novel trilogy brought life back to the genre. It tells the story of a New York City ravaged by a vampirism virus, with all of the gore that implies. As the layers of horrifying truth are peeled back on the contagion, the stakes grow even higher, and the scares become more frequent and intense. For those who like their horror relentless, aggressive, and vivid, this series is for you. Number 3. Harpers Island.
Why did you have to get married on this stupid island?
Mommy?
Just a second.
I know you're scared about Cal, okay? But we have to stick together.
Mommy, he's here!
Several shows have tried to stretch a slasher movie into a full season of television, but none succeeded quite as well as Harpers Island. When guests attend a wedding on an island with a history of murder, they begin to get picked off one by one.
My dad killed John Wakefield.
Then how come I keep seeing him?
Secrets of the island and its guests begin to reveal themselves in twisty fashion, as some creative and gruesome deaths befall the surprisingly compelling characters.
Why are you doing this to us? We didn't do anything to you!
The writers clearly did their homework here, as the series both plays into and subverts what you'd expect from a typical slasher narrative. We don't want to give too much away, but take our word for it. It's better than it had any right to be.
She'll never believe you.
And we'll see.
Number 2. American Gothic.
For those who follow my lead, life can be a paradise. But for those who don't, it can be a mighty rough road.
In the town of Trinity, South Carolina, there lives a murderous, corrupt sheriff with supernatural powers. In order to claim his illegitimate son Caleb, he murders the boy's family, kicking off a power struggle to protect Caleb from his villainous guardian.
Caleb Temple. Come again.
Featuring a supremely creepy pre-American horror story, Sarah Paulson, American Gothic gave us one of television's most underrated villains in the atrocious Sheriff Buck.
You always disturb evidence with such impunity, Buck? You always go around barking up the wrong tree, Dre?
This all proved to be a bit too sinister for network audiences in the 90s, though, and it failed to get picked up for a second season. Although considering how dark horror shows have gotten since then, we'd say it was simply ahead of its time.
I got a son who wants nothing to do with me. I got people in this town searching for miracles when they don't realize the only miracle they're ever gonna need is right here.
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there, though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. The Terror.
For in this world dwell the angels who keep us, the Lord who will not leave us, and the departed.
The HMS Terror was a Royal Navy ship that became stranded in the Arctic in the 19th century. This would already be a haunting premise for a series, but the Terror ups the ante by adding a sinister creature to the equation. Based on Dan Simmons' novel of the same name, this AMC series spins a ghastly yarn of men driven to the utmost desperation, with no hope on the horizon. In addition to being petrifyingly shot, it hits an unsettling emotional nerve, as the viewer journeys inwards toward doom with the protagonists. Bleak, stylish, and with the kind of production values we expect from AMC, this is a series you should check out while it's still around.
We need to give the men a last hurrah before we open their ears.
The terror indeed. What did you guys think of our list? What are your favorite underrated horror television shows? Let us know in the comments below and check out this video.